Good morning, everybody. It's that time again. It is Monday. This is Lindsay Huddleston with SPS Sports Psychology Solutions back at you for another Monday motivation. It's with a heavy heart that I share my comments today. The topic being living your purpose and not in your fear. As I always said, I pull my topics from the headlines, and this is something I was working on several days ago. It was put in my heart to talk about as we close out 2020 finally, as many of us would say, and getting ready for 2021. I really want to make sure I can send a message that can have people looking forward and not backward, having being purpose driven and not caught up in the fears. Good morning, Mimi. Welcome back from your nice vacation. I'm assuming you may be back already. Welcome back. Good to have you here, Mimi. We're talking about living in your purpose and not in your fear. But as I say, I always pull from the headline. If you're anywhere around the Metro Detroit area, if you're any way connected with Detroit sports or happen to know the beautiful person in Carol Bay Bush, who's been a childhood friend of mine, she lost her daughter these few days ago in a tragic, tragic way. I don't want to put too much attention on how her life ended. I really want to focus on the life she lived, referring to her daughter, Casey Willis. Um, she was tragically taken away from this world in a hail of gunfire. That is very visible. If you look on social media, it's unbelievable. Um, it looks like something that happens in a child's game or Hollywood movie. It's just a horrible thing. So I just want to make sure in my Monday motivation, while I try to inspire you and promote positive things, I can just recognize one. Let's pray for Carol Bay Bush and what she's going through. I can't imagine what's that like to lose a child, see my daughter over my shoulder. My mom lost her child, being my brother. It wasn't in violence, but still a loss. Think about Miss Thelma Gardner, who had to bury her son, Chet Gardner, one of my best friends growing up. Parents burying children is a unbearable loss because it's not the natural order of things. You see, when we get into things that are not natural order, things as we know it, we become very fearful and scared because we don't know what to look to for solace. And of course, we've seen that for the last 10 months with the pandemic here in the United States and throughout the world. But I want to talk about focusing on your purpose, focusing on your purpose. But Lindsay, what if I don't know what my purpose is? Everyone doesn't have an SPS or have, children to look after and grow for, a relationship. Well, if you don't know what your purpose is, be purposeful. What do you mean? Be purposeful, meaning whatever you are doing, if you don't know what your purpose is, focus on being purposeful about doing that. What do I mean? I mean, just do your work daily with some pride. Get up in the morning and clean your home. When you go to work, it may possibly be a job you don't really like, but do well at it. You may be in a relationship that does not just excite you and move you, but be respectful and kind and courteous. I mean, wherever you are, be purposeful in what you do if you haven't found your purpose. We have to, thank you, Michelle, we have to live in purpose and not in fear. There are so many things that have happened in this year, including the loss of, Casey Willis, that can make us live in fear. And what is fear defined as? We can find the fear as simply this: an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. An unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. You see, when horrible things happen in our life, thank you, Joe. Good to see you. I know you're back from a wonderful vacation too, you and the family. You know, we're human, so we can be scared. To sit here and say never be fearful, don't be scared, is not even is an asinine statement to make because we are human creatures created by emotions and influenced by emotions. But what I'm telling you to do is that instead of focusing on what is causing you the fear, focus on what your purpose is. Meaning, if you can focus on where you are going instead of where you've been, if you can focus on what heals you instead of what hurt you, you can go forward. To talk about the life of Casey Willis, if you knew her mother, if you know her mother, you know that she's a wonderful person. Bay wouldn't have anyway. And many of us benefit from seeing Bay covering games. Her and I are on the same type of track when we're out here. She's supporting her family, supporting young people. And her daughter, a 19-year-old freshman at Wayne State, working 2 jobs, a board member for Alternative for Girls. She was a board member, not a member of the organization, but a member of the board of directors, meaning that other adults saw the promise in her. See, another thing I want to say is so many times we think that we are at the dawn of our life and our career, we really may be in the twilight stages leading to the dusk. You see, what Casey has done and what Bea has done in raising her is she gave her so many qualities and so many great things to be an impressive young lady at the age of 19. And many of us think that life gives us so much time to go on to live and create, where what we have been seeing was actually the twilight, the dusk of this young lady's life. But in this time, in these 19 years, she's amassed enough to be college educated, to be industrious, to be independent, and to be a voice for others, Alternative for Girls, to be an advocate. University Prep, the school that I do so much work with. Shout out to Brother Kellum over there. Shout out to my boy coach Brandon Barrett. You know, all these great people over there. She was involved. That community is reeling at her loss, and I understand why. But what I just want to talk about is what we have to focus on, folks, is living in our purpose and not in our fear. There are so many things that can grip us and put us in a paralysis of non-movement because of fear. We can talk about COVID, and I'm not telling you to throw caution to the wind when it comes to COVID-19 because it's still a real threat. Just take the necessary precautions. Wear a mask, social distance, wash your hands. 3 steps that we can do. But we don't want to get caught up in being, locked into our fear of 2020. We want the freedom of 2021. We want 2021 to be purpose driven. We want 2021 to be a year that we can look at going in and say, I'm going to look back on 2020 and all my years. And instead of me looking at it and being confined to the fear of things that happened or could have happened that year, I'm going to focus on what my purpose is going to be going forward. What if you were a Casey Willis before this tragedy? What if she was caught in the paralysis of fear and was scared to go on to follow her college dreams? What if she was scared to go out and try to get job and employment because people would have told her, no, you're too young, we won't hire you? What if she would have said, me being in this organization, they won't listen to me? But instead, Casey Willis was purpose driven. She followed purpose and not fear. And now we honor her today. As tragic as her death was, we honor her. We wrap our arms around her mother, Bea, and the entire community that's supporting her. And we learn something from her tragedy that can help us in life. We cannot live in fear. We have to live in purpose. Purpose driven. Do you know what her involvement in this organization has done? Though she's been tragically taken away, what that's going to do for the motivation of the people that she served with? What that's going to do for the young ladies who looked up to her? What that's going to do for her siblings who cared so much about her? What that's going to do for the people in the community? Casey Willis is allowing us to live more on our purpose because we realize that life can be tragically taken away, whether it's by a virus that caught us all by storm or by devilish demonic behavior that's acted out in people on the streets of the city of Detroit and throughout the world. I don't know what's going to happen to me when I walk out this door, but I hope that I've spent more time focused on my purpose and not my fear. I didn't expect my comments to be like this today. I didn't expect to have a sobering statement. I wanted to motivate and inspire, but I just hope that we can recognize the world around us, as tragic as it may be, as we continue to be put in situations that we couldn't even have fathomed, the day prior to it happened or months prior to it happened. We still must continue to focus on purpose and not fear. What are you here for? What are you here to do? I'm at a loss for words, and I hate to be on a solemn note, but as I say always, we're here to deal with life as it comes. And I just want you to know that if you focus more on your purpose or focus more on being purposeful, great late Dr. King said, if you're going to be, a janitor, be the best janitor. If you're going to be, a street washer, be the best street washer you can be. Find your purpose in what you do and be deliberate. And when you do that, you will create a way. You will create an opportunity. You will create a lane. And more importantly, it'll help you get to the next step of where you need to be in this infinite journey called life. Because we don't know if we're living in the dusk or it's the dawn. It's always twilight. It's always this obscure time. So in this time, we focus more on what you can do to help and not as focused on what has hurt you. I know it's not easy. I know it's hard. I know these words may have a difficult, way of landing with some people right now. But all I want to say is you are here, which means that there's something that you can do. And you can live in purpose or you can live in fear. And I encourage you, I implore you to live in your purpose. It'll be better for all of us. And I thank you, Casey Willis, for living in your purpose. Because it's inspired me on this day, and hopefully it's inspired others. So with that, beyond the 10-minute mark, I want to wish you guys a great day. Uh, my hope is that when I come back to you next week, I can be visibly more excited to talk to you. But then again, I hope that today's words can have a positive impact on you going forward. So I thank you. This is Lindsay Huddleston with SPS. Carol, we love you. We're thinking of you. And please, whether you know her or not, put prayers in the air and we will move forward and we'll be purpose driven and not living in fear. So thank you guys and have a great day and a great week. And I'll talk to you next time.